All right, it's 25 minutes after 7 p.m. Welcome back to Salam Media, and you're with me, Safaraz Takola. I'll be with you until about 9 p.m. inshallah. We're coming to you live from our headquarters right here in Johannesburg. Right, time for football discussions, and we're speaking to football analyst Mohammed Bhamjee. The weekend's build-up of obviously the English Premier League, also Bafana coach Hugo Broos in his ambitions to bring the national team, make them qualify, inshallah, hopefully, potentially for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. And breaking news. We welcome now brother Mohammed Bhamjee. Mohammed, assalamu alaikum. Good evening to you.
Alaikum salam. Glad to be back.
Awesome stuff. Great to have you with us. But you're just wearing the wrong slip-on. But anyway, hoping you're good, man. I was looking at the matches that are going to be unfolding over the weekend, and I want to, since you're wearing the Liverpool attire, I think we should touch on that point, right? Now, Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel saying that Liverpool are playing obviously at a packed Anfield. It's one of the toughest challenges in European football, one of the toughest fixtures. And Chelsea come to tomorrow's match, right, after a convincing 2-0 win over their London rivals, Arsenal. Okay. Thomas Tuchel also confirmed that Romelu Lukaku will feature against Liverpool. Now, despite all of these reservations about the striker's fitness levels, let's assume a lineup here. You've got Lukaku, you've got Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, who got the nod last weekend. Do you think Thomas Tuchel might start Lukaku off, or he might put him in the second half? What are some of your expectations?
No, I mean,
from a Chelsea perspective, before we get into a Liverpool perspective.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, looking at Romelo's debut, Big Rom was dominant. He looked pretty different from the Romelu Lukaku we saw at Manchester United. His hold-up play was fantastic. He was getting others involved. He was getting into good positions. I believe he should have had more than one goal on the night. I don't believe that there should be any doubt in anybody's mind, that he should be in the starting 11 against Liverpool.
Look, I mean, his form is banging right? I mean, we've seen what he's done in Italy. I think also Antonio Conte obviously did him good in terms of mentoring him in Serie A. But coming back to London, I think it's something that's obviously going to be good for him. Going to be interesting to see the lineup, though. I mean, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Romelu Lukaku. I mean, the depth of the squad we're talking here. And I know you're going to come on to whether Diogo Jota talk now in a moment. But before we get to that, what do you see, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech? I mean, there's so much depth in the squad here. What do you think would be the expected formation? 3-4-3 for Chelsea?
Yeah, look, Thomas Tuchel has alternated his formations pretty much from the time he's been at Chelsea. But this formation has suited his team the best. The 3-4-3. Look, Reece James for me should be the first name on the team sheet after his amazing performance against Arsenal. He was absolutely spectacular. And in my opinion, despite Romelu being fantastic, he was the man of the match.
Yeah.
And
now also, in addition to that, I want to add something here. Timo Werner and his pace obviously would always pose a threat. But we'll see how the defensive line that Liverpool play will pan out. Now, let's talk about Liverpool, right? Jurgen Klopp, he said he's obviously expecting a tough game against Chelsea. As obviously both sides are going into the contest with 100% stats at the moment, obviously after their campaign they started off. Liverpool obviously having it quite easy against Norwich and Burnley. But Chelsea have seen of Crystal Palace and their London rivals so far. So it's going to be quite interesting. What do you make of the Liverpool approach and the defensive line, or how they lay their formation out?
Liverpool are going to stick to a 4-3-3. It's that simple. It works. It's effective. With Van Dijk being back, it allows the wing-backs to bomb on. Liverpool are a team who do like to defend 2-on-2. With Fabinho just tucking in a little bit, which allows a lot of freedom for the wingbacks to go forward. And we know how good Trent is with the ball. He's a magician. The new addition, Tsimikas, the young kid, He's been fantastic. So, and we're talking about the defensive line of Liverpool. Joel Matip has featured in 45 games, 45 games for Liverpool now. And in those 45 games, Liverpool have only lost one, which is an
Wow.
incredible stat. And
He's a
Virgil van
fantastic.
Dijk, Virgil van Dijk is still, no matter what you say about him, he doesn't look like he had a 1 year injury. He's still the best centre back in the world, and it's undebatable.
Well, off air,
Well,
you and
off
I are
air,
going to
you and
have a
I are going to have
discussion
a
about
discussion about
that.
that.
But looking at obviously the dependence that Liverpool had on Virgil van Dijk, similarly what Vincent Company was to Manchester City. You know what I'm saying? Where when they lost his services, they were obviously in a situation where the backline was obviously needing assistance there. But obviously they've picked up their game now. Interesting to see now. Also, I want to talk about Bafana very quickly before we wrap up. Now, Bafana coach Hugo Broos admits that his ambition to guide the senior national squad to next year's FIFA World Cup in Qatar, inshallah, in 2022. There was some surprise inclusions. Now, he's brought in the likes of young players, young blood, right? Ethan Brooks, Yusuf Mart, Spelele Mkulise. We're not hearing the normal names with you. I mean, we're not even listening to a Percy Tau here. You know what I'm saying? So he said that the gamble of choosing a younger squad could backfire. But looking at global football from club perspective and international level, managers and their, I'd say, confidence in younger, fresh players, I think does pay off. What do you think we could expect from a much more younger, inexperienced Bafana squad going into the match that they play against Zimbabwe on the 3rd of September?
So, Bafana are very, how do I put this? I believe that we have a lot of talent in this country. It just depends on how we grow that talent. And I think giving these young players the opportunity to play in these big games can develop them into positions where they can become, maybe not superstar level, but on a level where they can compete at a very high level in European football. So I think it'll be great exposure for these young players. There's a young guy who plays currently, I think, in Portugal, whose name is Luther Singh, who I think we should all be watching out for. He was fantastic for us at the Olympics. I liked our showing at the Olympic Games. Look, Bafana is always going to take us for a ride. It's always going to be a roller coaster. But we're going to back them anyway. And we're going to, if we do end up in Qatar, which we all hope is possible, that is intentionally that is what we want to, we're all going to be behind this country, and we're all going to want to go over to actually see what is happening, and love to experience that again after 2010. And yeah, I'm all for the idea of bringing in the youth players.
On this point,
On this point,
looking at
I mean,
11 years
looking at
post
11
2010
years
World Cup,
post
I mean,
2010
we've now
World
got
Cup, we've now got
fantastic stadiums, but we do have talent, and I think we just need to nurture that youth right now. And I think maybe Hugo, if given the chance, let's hope Safa in the hierarchy do not, just chop and change coaches. I think that's where maybe the inconsistency is coming. But on the last point now, before we wrap up, Mr. Bhamjee, CR7 returning back to the theater of dreams. Right. News in breaking news that's obviously coming earlier this evening. Social media tonight, like Friday Night Live, is going to be alert. And it's going to be fantastic to see, inshallah, the performance and the welcoming that he is going to be getting. Anyway, Mohammed Bhamjee, I think I've just lost you there. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, it's been great chatting with you. And until the next discussion that we have, inshallah, take care. Assalamu alaikum. It's now 35 minutes after 7 p.m. Coming up next, Tech Talk. Stay tuned.